Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session, Streamline Candidate Communications with Cadient Texting Solutions. My name is Kristen Worrell, and I'm the Marketing, Communications, and Content Specialist for Cadient Talent. We're very happy you've taken time out of your day to join our session. Today, we'll show you how easy it is to use Cadient Texting Solutions to streamline and accelerate your candidate communications. We offer a full suite of SMS and chat box texting options, including texting, text apply, and text notify. Texting can transform the way candidates interact with your business and improve the overall candidate experience. During this session, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, please ask them via the chat option within GoToMeeting, and I'll be checking for questions throughout the presentation. For those of you just joining us, welcome to Cadient Talent Texting Solutions Overview webinar. I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Shirley Gingrich, Cadient Senior Solutions Consultant. Over to you, Shirley.
Good afternoon. I'm excited for the opportunity to share a little bit about texting solutions with you today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and we should be switched there. So hopefully you are seeing my screen. We are going to go through text apply, then I'm going to go into texting, and we'll end with text notify. I thought first that maybe we could go ahead and start with a poll to see how many of you today or are already texting with your applicant. So if you want to go ahead and just make a selection there. Just from our research, what we found is that about 67% of hiring managers and recruiters are already texting with applicants most of the time from their own personal phone if they're not using an application to do that. Looks like based on our audience today, comes close to that. Got about 57% that are already texting with applicants. So let's go ahead and get started with the text to apply. You'll notice here on my screen, I have a sample flyer that's up. This is an example how you could use the text to apply. So the organization is given a unique number that then could be advertised on a flyer such as this at physical locations, for example, stores, restaurants, healthcare facilities. It could also be shared on social media or your job boards. If you think about going to a job and clicking on it, a lot of times the first line might even say, text the word apply to this number. You really could advertise the number anywhere that your applicants could see it. Now today you can also see that I have my phone up and I'm going to walk through this apply chatbot so that you can see it. I am using software that's allowing me to share my iPhone on the screen so that you can see what it looks like from the smartphone. I'll be using this application quite a bit so that you can see my phone and that, that will help you with visualizing what this would look like for an applicant or anything else that we might be doing later on with the phone. So I'm going through the first name and last name, and then it's also going to ask me what's a good email to follow up with. So I'll go ahead and put that in as well. Now this is not meant to be a full application. It is just going to ask some simple questions to help build out that talent pipeline. It will ask for the zip code, and this can be important because you want to make sure that the location is set for that applicant. In our system, if you're using position-based, it will also determine which hiring managers based on the location the applicant gets assigned to and who can see those particular applicants. And then of course the category, these are configurable. So this would match up with what job categories that your organization has and allows the applicant to identify the areas they are most interested in. Now, after the chatbot is complete, which that's all the information that's going to ask for, the system generates a candidate profile and it'll add them to your talent pipeline. And then it ends with a link to the job. So this would link then to your full job listing. And that's where they could go through and actually apply. But if they don't click on that link and they don't apply, you're still getting all of the information. I'm going to show you that in a minute in the system so you can still reach out to them. Let me show you what that's going to look like in the Cadient system. So when you come in here, when you have the text to apply, under your applications or candidates, you'll have an area where all of your applicants are that have come through text to apply. So we'll go ahead and tie the source as text to apply. The location and the job categories going to be based on what they filled out in that chatbot that we just went through that you watched me do on the phone. And then on the individual, you of course are going to have the email because you asked for that, but we're also getting that phone number because they text to word apply from that mobile device. So we have that information as well. So that was a brief introduction into the text apply and how that works. Do we have any questions on text to apply before we move on to the next section?
It looks like we do have a question coming over, Shirley.
Okay, great.
Okay, is the chatbot configurable?
Yeah, so today the two things that would be configurable would be the area, so the categories, and then also the link at the end. Everything else, the type of information we're collecting, those questions about first name, last name, email, and zip code, those are not. Any other questions, Kristen, in the chat or any?
That's it. That was it.
Okay, great. So the text apply was meant to help your applicants quickly get that information into the system without going through a full apply, something they could do easily from their phone. You know, they're walking into a place, they see that. This next one that we're going to do is going to be texting. So this is the ability to have that two-way real-time communication. So I do have one other poll I'm going to ask you guys to participate in today. I'll go ahead and launch this out. And that's asking here, how many times a day are you checking your personal email? And you have some choices in there. So this again is not work email, this is personal email. So I'll let all of you answer and then we'll jump into the two-way texting. And it does look like most people have voted, so I'll go ahead and close that. And so, you know, the results are in, and, you know, 30% are only checking it less than 2 times a day, 20% 3 to 5 times, and then 50% 6 or more. The point that I want to make here is that just even in our poll today on the call, 50% are checking it less than 3 times. Now, if I had the same question for texting, my guess is we would be at 100% for those that check their text messages 3 times or more a day. So that's really the importance of that real-time communication. You'll notice that I have an applicant up here on my screen. So when you have an applicant record, you can come in and you can click on the text window. This, if you're using Chrome, is going to bring up a Chrome extension. I'll talk a little bit in a minute if you aren't a Chrome user, if you prefer a different browser. But within here in that extension, we are seeing the full history of what's gone back and forth in the texting with this individual applicant. So if you think about how a lot of people are texting today, those hiring managers or recruiters are doing it from their personal phones. And the problem becomes if they're on vacation, have an unexpected absence, maybe they're no longer with the organization, that history is lost. We're here with Cadient Texting, anyone can step in and pick up with that conversation. Now, this is real time, so I'm going to bring my phone back over here. And I'm going to ask if They're available tomorrow to speak. So when I send this, you're going to see on my phone, I'm going to get a pop-up as if I'm doing something else. This is still the apply process, but this will go ahead and come up here at the top so that I can send that back. That text with the real-time texting. So let me just come in. And typically, if I was a recruiter or hiring manager, I probably wouldn't be sitting in here waiting for a response. So to make this realistic, I'm going to go ahead and close that window. Maybe I'm out doing something else. So I'm going to answer as if I'm the applicant. So I'm going to send a couple texts here. And then what you'll notice is, move that out of the way. We now have the number 2 coming up here to show me if I'm out doing something else, working with a different recruiter, maybe I'm even on a different window. In the Chrome window, I can see that I have multiple unread messages. If I was getting a bunch of different applicants replying back, or this applicant had sent 10, it would have a 10 instead of a 2. Now, if you prefer a different browser, so let's say you're not using Chrome, then you'd be using the texting application, and you can see that texting is also blinking to let me know if I'm on a different window that I've got unread messages. So let's go take a look at that. Any of the contacts that I've been texting with will be listed here. Any of them that have unread messages will have an orange dot next to it. I can click on that to read those new messages, and then I can text from here as well, back to them, just like in the Chrome extension. You also carry with some information and some notes in there as well. Now, I'll show you here, I'm going to bring my phone back up. You can have the same texting application as a hiring or recruiter or manager on your phone as well. It doesn't require downloading an app or anything. It is just the same as if I'm on the desktop. It's a URL. Same thing here, where I can go right to that person and read everything. And then I could, text whatever I want in here back to that applicant too. So it gives you the capability of doing it from the desktop or from the phone if you want. So that was just a quick, brief overview on the Cadient texting, hopefully showing you how it can help to engage your applicants with faster communication with them over just doing an email communication, with these types of questions that you want to get answered pretty quickly. Do we have any questions on the Cadient texting? Kristen, anything come through in the chat?
We do. We actually have 2 questions. The first one, which roles have access to the two-way texting?
So that's up to you. So since we are role-based permissioning, you can choose which roles get the texting. So if you want all of your hiring managers to have the two-way texting, obviously you would assign it to that hiring manager type role or any other roles of the individuals that you want. You can also kind of lock this down if it's more centralized into your recruiters. You could just assign it to the roles that have that if you want. Any other questions that we have?
Yes. Does this work both for requisition and salary-based positions?
It does. So regardless of which one or both that you're using, you can turn on the Cadient texting and use it for both position and rec-based. Yep.
Okay, that's all the questions I see.
Okay. So as we were going through those questions, I've gone over to a candidate experience to cover our last piece, which is our text notify. This is specific to the Cadient ATS, so it's for our Cadient ATS clients only versus the other two that we could do for different ATSs. When the applicant is going through the apply process, they get to a personal information area. Within this area, they can put in phone numbers, and then they can determine, if you have text notify, what's the best way to receive system messages from you. So if they do choose text messaging, since this would be coming from the system itself with any of those status updates. So if you think about them moving through the process and where they would typically get an email for some kind of a change in their application, now they can agree to get a text. So we do need that consent. So when they choose text message, they'll get the consent message and they agree to that. And then they can choose which phone number they want that to go to. So if they put in multiple phone numbers, they can choose which one they want the text to go to. Let me go ahead and show you back on our home screen. I'm going to go into our messages. So just like you have the capability of customizing emails, you would also have the ability to customize those texts. So there'll be standard ones like this, where you've got, this is just the application confirmation. This is the typical email that goes out that says, thanks, we got your application, and you can, of course, come in and edit it. If you have the text to notify, and then you have also the texting content. So there will be a standard message in here, but you can edit that. And this is what now would go out to any of your applicants when they apply. And that, again, would be for those system messages that we have texting to. You can come in and edit that content. So that's really the last piece of the solution today, the text notify, allowing your, kind of putting in control that your applicants can choose what's the best way for them notified. So Kristen, any questions on that?
Yeah, we do have a question, and I think this goes back to the two-way texting.
Sure.
Someone asked, is it only for the updated version of Cadient, and how do you access the texting option?
Oh,
they were late joining.
Yeah, great question. So it does not, I do have the updated UI, as you've probably noticed as I've gone through the demonstration today. This texting still works, both the text apply and the texting and text notify. With the older UI, so you don't have to wait to get this upgrade to use those functions. And I think Kristen's gonna let you know at the end if you're interested in any of these additional features, who to contact. So, but no, I'm so glad you asked. I meant to mention that since I do have the new UI, you do not have to wait on that to get any of these features. Any other questions?
One more. Does an email still get sent, or is it just text only?
Yeah, so for text notify, we are still sending the email with the text in case for some reason, that the text doesn't get sent. We will also continue to send the email notification. And honestly, that's good too, because sometimes the email content has a lot more than what you're going to put in the texting. Some people will even on some of the notifications put a little more information in the texting, like please look at your email to get the details on this. So yes, we will still send an email as well. So just to recap, today we have gone through, we started with the text to apply, making it easier for your candidates to apply from their phone. The ability to do real-time texting with your applicants from the ATS, and then finally that ability for the candidates to choose texting as a way to get updated on the hiring status. So I'm going to go ahead and give it back to Kristen to wrap up and give you some information in case this has been of interest to you and something that you might be wanting to do.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining today's presentation. If you're interested in learning more about our texting solutions, please contact your account manager or client success manager. And I will be emailing everyone a copy of today's presentation. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you again for joining us.